Welcome to Reflect Reset. I'm Claudette Williams. Here I invite you to relax and lean in as we reflect on our life's journey and share the lessons we have learned. In today's episode, I'll be speaking with my daughter, discussing college, navigating AI, and stress that can come when facing the future. You can grab your coffee, let's settle in and journey together. Hello, hi, welcome to my second podcast, and this is going to be an organic conversation. And of course, it's just myself you're seeing, but I'm actually going to be speaking with my, what is it? What would you call it? Where are you in the alphabetical order?
Well, Gen Z.
Gen Z. So I'll be speaking to my daughter, that is 20 years old. She's in the Gen Z. She's in my book, which is What is Love, and also Reset Mindset. So she's mentioned in the book, but she wanted to be off camera. So I'm going to respect her with that. And I love her very much. And this is my Gen Z speaking. So we're just going to organically talk, because for me, I'm in a different, I would say a different generation. And so for her and Gen Zs, they're in a different generation. So I just want to hear her mindset and her thoughts based on what she is seeing and observing. And she's in college at the moment. So, it's just organically speaking. Now, in my culture, Jamaica, one of the things that we call the last child, we call them belly wash. And so she's my belly wash. She's my last one out of my 4 kids. And so, hi, welcome to Reflect Reset. So we're going to be talking about reflect by looking back, and then also reset of where we are. So I basically just like call you out of your room just to talk to you. So, you didn't expect this at this moment, but I wanted to talk to you because I love how you articulate yourself when you speak, and I like to hear your thoughts. And when I hear you speak, I figure, wow, so mature in your thinking and your thoughts. So you can relax. You can relax. I know they can't see you, but you can relax. So, hi.
Yay.
So you'd just have to speak up a little bit more. The only thing is this, is that I will not be mentioning her name, because that's one of the stipulation, is no mentioning of name. So there won't be any mentioning of names. So welcome. Anyway, it's going to be so hard for me not to say your name. So no, I didn't say all your names. So anyway, going forward, what should I call you? Should I call you the name that I call you at home, or no? No, so we won't do those names. Okay. So anyway, going forward with this, I'm going to just start and say, start from college then, and then we can maybe go backward as we speak. How is it, exam time coming up?
Yeah, exam time is coming up.
Yeah, okay. So you're kind of in the grind at the moment.
Yeah.
You're in the grind. Okay. And so tell me a little bit, your studies, how is that going?
It's going well.
It's going well. How you find it? Is this your second year now, right?
Yeah.
It's your second year. So can I just ask you if you can speak up a little bit louder? I know the mic is on you, but just in case, right? Because we don't want to go through it again. So my Gen Z that is here, You see, the world that you're in is the digital world, and for my age group, and others that's older or a little bit, younger. Now, when I say younger, my age group, which I didn't mention my age, um, it's a different world. But for you guys, it's like second nature. How you find, because what you're studying have also dealing with AI. How do you find that world? Oh,
Like just AI in general or just the digital stuff in general?
the digital stuff, how it can be incorporated with the world that you are aware of. Would you say you have a bit of an idea of where it was and where what you're seeing now?
I suppose with where I'm studying, there's a lot of different factors that a person can go into based on the skills that they gain from it. And it doesn't just lead to corporate job opportunities. It can also be many things that they can do and work from home.
Okay.
It As for I mean, of course, AI has good and the bad to it. Not every single AI is generative and meant for stuff that you see online,
Okay.
where people can just make stuff with simply using a prompt. There's like many fields that require a different kind of AI to be able to do what they need to do, and it's much more accurate than like stuff like ChatGPT when you ask it to do an image or something.
What are some of the pros and cons that you see with AI that you, because based on your studying and what you're going into and what you're seeing, what are the pros and cons?
Well, personally, the pros for me would be if I need to ask for like links to references of if I were to ask it about what is the history of this, and then I would ask what references did you take, and like could you send me the links, and then I would click on those links and read the actual information myself to see if it's accurate.
Okay.
And another, personally, I use for math, I don't like asking for the question. I do the answer first, and then I ask the AI if this is correct with my answer,
Okay.
basically my entire process. Though sometimes the AI is not correct with the process and how it works. And
So that you could say that is a part of a con right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
the cons are, I think, while AI is good for a decent proportion of things, it's also made people my age more lenient when it comes to technology, in my
Okay.
opinion. Not saying that they're not working hard, but some people just rely on it too much for everything.
Do
Uh,
you see an area where it can be a crash for the people that relying on it too much?
yeah, for example, when it comes to learning Java or Python, sure, the first time we went through it, it was quote unquote easy because it was just the hype of AI at the time. But now they're asking people to do it on paper, like do exams of it on paper. And if a person who's been getting like 10 out of 10 on assignments because they just put into ChatGPT and they go into the exam that's worth much more, then they're going to have a much harder time and possibly not pass the course.
And so by them doing it like that, is it to prepare the students for what is out there, what they
No,
see? No?
personally, I think that while AI is a decent tool, it can't do everything.
Okay.
Logically speaking, still need to do your own research on what you need to do and what you need to focus on. Because there still is a large stigma when it comes to the generative AI that people keep on seeing.
Okay.
Because once someone hears that a product is made by AI, the
Yes.
value of it diminishes to roughly zero.
Wow. That's what you have observed.
For example, a painting. If many people learn that a painting or a show is made by AI, majority of people are not going to watch that stuff because people still do want human authenticity.
Yes.
For coding, it's roughly different where AI can assist you in certain things,
Yes.
but it shouldn't be in charge of the entire thing,
Okay.
because there's been situations where the AI's code hasn't been able to do certain stuff or delete the program, and other times it's you can't expect the AI to constantly keep on editing a 4-month project or something, or even a years long project, because it's still limited.
Okay.
The person who's the coder still has to be able to understand the fundamentals of coding, and have the problem solving skills and the critical thinking to do what needs to be done.
So what you're saying to me, there's so much fear out there on people thinking that they're going to lose their job because of AI. But we have come through the different stages of what you said, industrial age. Now we're in the technology age, right? But anywhere you take it, we as human beings don't have to fear because we adapt. And what you're saying is this is pretty much someone have to program those, would you say, program the era of AI? You need still
Because
human to do that.
Because, like, here's the thing: as logical as it is, someone programmed that AI to be able to gain input. Someone programmed that AI to even do the stuff needed. Wherever you take it, AI is created by someone.
That's right.
Something is created by someone.
That's right.
Nothing comes from this world without it being created or someone having an idea, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea.
Yes. And you see, basically what you're saying is this is it's just as though God create. So everything come from a creator.
Yeah.
Right. So what you're saying, because why I love listening to what you're saying, and because you're studying it, is to take away the fear that people has with AI, that it there is good and a lot of good that come from it, but at the same time it is limited, you're saying.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that people have a right to be fearful. Even I at times am pretty fearful of it, because what's the point of going into a course if there's this AI that can do what I can do
Yes.
with a simple prompt? But the people out there are not looking for people who can just do coding. They're looking for people who can problem solve.
Yes.
The whole point is that no matter how advanced AI is going to be, there's always going to be people in the world that are going to create something authentically.
Yes.
And in my opinion, I don't think we should necessarily have to worry about it, even though it's like an annoying pest at times. I think that no matter what happens, humanity always has that feeling to create, because technically speaking, in Genesis, God was the one who created everything and then created us and
That's
said it was very good.
Yes.
God knew that this would happen,
Yes.
but I think humanity will always prevail when it comes to creating. Sure, there's the internet and everything is much more saturated with it, but it doesn't mean that there isn't good stuff that came out.
Yes. I love how you simplify it, and also what you did was take away the fear, because your generation is the one that is a bit anxious. Not that everyone isn't anxious, but what have you observed? I know you attend church, the young adults church, and what you have observed. What have you seen, even also in college with your age group? What you have observed with the anxiety, with going forward with the future? What do you see?
I see that while everyone is doing what they need to do, is a bit more on edge. When it comes to my age group of Gen Z, we didn't really grow up with the proper time of being able to better socialize with people due to COVID-19.
Yes.
And I think that's caused people to be much more introverted, including myself.
Yes.
So I see much more people just on their phones.
Yes.
Or even just on their devices or doing their own thing. I'm not saying that's like the only reason that someone is on their phone.
Yes.
But I find that personally that it's much harder to talk to people now.
Yes.
And there's a and regarding my church area, people tend to cling on to people that they already know.
Yes.
So it's much harder for others to even be accepted into said group.
Yes. Yes. Because once a person build a relationship, they have a history, as what you're saying. So someone who is an introvert or new in a setting, it's hard for them to penetrate that circle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and when you already see established groups in an area that claims to have a social gathering with other adults, you kind of just have no choice but to go on your phone and on your chair and to just sit and go on it because there's nothing else that you can technically do. Sure, there's pleasantries, but it doesn't go any farther than that.
Based on what you're saying, it's not only, you would say, the Gen Z. I know that when I walk and I observe, even in the malls, so many people, their heads are down on their phone and not looking up. And going back to Genesis, when God created Adam, he recognized that man was not meant to be alone. So you said mankind, right? And so when COVID-19 happened, I would say a lot of people with loneliness came about. And so COVID have a very long leg, so it still have scars that leave behind, right? How do you see going forward what you think as something that could be created to help that age group, your age group, to kind of break through that bubble? What do you think because of what you can say for yourself too?
Personally, I think that now that people are on their phones more, I think taking advantage of using technology to actually bring people together
Yes,
and then make them comfortable enough that once they're off their phone, they can go to that same event and then people could start actually talking to each other because they're now comfortable. They introduce themselves. It's not face to face.
that's right.
It's not just with other people. It's just everyone, as everyone would have an equal voice online.
So that is what you're saying. That community can start from using the internet as to do that as a social, but then bring it out into not just being, you said, a spectator, but also being a participant of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what, we still need that part. You would say that interaction with each other, right? And so that's one thing that we can say that's something that, based on what you have observed, could work on, right? Now, when you look at, I think they call it the alpha group, the younger, what age group is that? The one that
Gen Alpha?
14, yeah, Gen Alpha. Is that 14 and up?
Pretty sure.
About that, yeah. And I know you are part of the volunteer with the young people also. Um, how do you think that your age group could interact to help those kids, because some of those kids also have that what COVID did to them? Do you notice how some of the kids are?
Well, there hasn't necessarily been many changes to Gen Z from what I could remember. Gen Z was a younger when this hit. So, from what I assume, they were with their parents more often rather than, and maybe not even be aware of what was going on. Where Gen Z were teenagers at a
Yes,
major stage of their lives.
that's true.
Not saying that they weren't affected, but I just don't really see it as much, even when I look at the kids when I'm at the church volunteering. Um, but what I do notice is that Gen Z is able to be more compassionate with Gen Alpha in a sense,
Okay.
because I think since the age group is not as long
Okay.
of a gap as, for example, Gen Z with millennials or Gen X and
That's
stuff
true.
like that,
Yes.
I've seen that we kind of turn into that cooler older sibling where to that younger generation, because there's actually references that we can both understand no matter
Yes.
how seemingly odd it is.
Yes.
So I'm finding that personally Gen Z I think is doing decently with Gen Alpha.
Oh, you see, I would have never seen that because through my lens that I look by speaking to you, I'm looking through your lens. You're giving me an insight of what is happening to even hear the compassionate part because I do observe you when you're interacting with when we giving out candy and how I hear how you respond and speak to them. I said, wow. And then I also interact with a young man that is your age group that the same thing. He's seeing the same thing as what you're saying, and he's showing the same thing that you're saying as compassion to that age group. So it's almost like a parenting, big brother, big sister type of relationship that is there, as what you said, not much of a wider gap.
Because growing up, I noticed that like many of the older people didn't really reference or rather didn't care if
Yes.
Gen Z were to dress up in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And like sure they referenced it, understood some images and whatnot, but they couldn't really understand the references that they took.
Okay.
But when it comes to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, who are basically still close and and both are on the internet more often, I find that personally when it comes to Halloween and seeing the different costumes, I can basically understand 90% of them and able to compliment the kids more accurately because I know that if I was a kid and if an adult or person saw my costume and recognized the character, I would honestly be very happy. So that's what I try to do when it's Halloween.
Well, the thing is what I observe with you, you didn't try, it was natural. And that's the difference, right? It's a natural, authentic you. Now, I know I'm going to speak about elementary school.
Mm.
And I'm not going to go into elementary school. I'm going to say as a reflect, right? So we talk about where you are now, right? And so the website is called reflect-reset.com. So reflect is because it doesn't matter whatever age that we are in life. We always have to reflect, and then as we observe we can learn because those moments are teaching moments, right? Elementary school might not be, some kids or some people didn't like it, but it what I find that it whatever age or whatever we're going through, it is to shape the character of who we are. So when you look back at your younger you and someone that is your younger you that you can remember, what would you say to that younger you?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean,
Someone, if you are at the volunteer with your younger you see your younger you and where you are now in your confident level of yourself, what would you say to that younger you?
I don't know.
No, you would know how to say, to encourage them to say, okay, you'll be okay, based on where you know where you were and where you are now, how you're articulating yourself and the independence of where you are. Have you seen, well, not have you seen, I'm sure you have seen your advanced growth because you're not the same mindset. We're not the same mindset of where we were. Like how I think when I'm 20, where I'm at in my 30s, I don't think like my 20s, right? I don't think like a teenager. I don't think like a 30-year-old because I have had life experience that I have learned from, right? In the Bible, God said to the Israelites not to forget, right? And we're all, the old Testament teach us and show us who that we are all that person. And so by looking back at ourselves, I can say I can look back at my younger me, and when I would say this, when my there was a photo that was placed on WhatsApp that my sister put up. And on that photo, my sister reached out to me and she said, "Don't you see yourself?" And I never met my younger me. And so when I saw the photo and she pointed out when she showed me where it is, it was my mom holding me. I always look at that photo since last year, and I keep looking into that little girl's eyes. And based on where I'm at now and the valleys and the mountaintops that I've been through, at that pruning stage, that mistake stage, that young David stage, I now can look at that little girl and I can say to that little girl, it's going to be okay. But at that time, I wouldn't know. So that's why I asked you that question. Basically, like when you, I think you were in grade 10 and you said in the car, um, why didn't I listen when I was younger? Right? Because you recognize where you are now. I said, but you woke up. It doesn't matter. You're here now, right? So that's why I'm trying to just find out, because I know that what I have observed with you from the time up there to now, I've seen many growth and so far leaping from when I had you. I spoke about it. You were 2 pounds. And in 1 week, you went down to a pound in the hospital in the neonatal unit for 3 months. You were there for 3 months. So from a 2 pound baby to my Gen Z that I'm talking to, I couldn't have seen it there and where you are now. And all the things that they say that may would have happened to you, I see this mature, intellectual young person in college that she didn't know that she would have been where she is. And I am super proud to see where you have been, where you were when I looked at you, where you were and where you are. So I see your growth. Sometimes it's hard for us to reflect on where we were. And it is good to give ourselves grace to look back of where we were and celebrate where we are. And I find a lot of people, not just your age group, that I have interact with, they're not celebrating where they are.
It's kind of hard to in this day and age. I mean, when you look online and see someone in their 20s that already have millions of dollars, already has a mansion, already has a car, doesn't have to worry about rent or anything like that, doesn't have to worry about the housing crisis or just all that stuff. Like, you see many people your age who we don't really know the story of already living lives that we wish we had, already have stuff that we wish we had. It kind of gives you that incentiveness that you're kind of failing in life.
But you're not, because you said something that is key that I find a lot of people do. And I mentioned that in my second book, What is Love? And also the third book, Reflect Mindset, Enjoy Life's Journey, is that we tend to compare. And I speak on a chapter in the third book about not comparing. And I can say I was one of those persons. We all do. And it's not good to compare, to look back at others. And by you seeing what someone posts online, doesn't mean that's what it is, right? Because people can manipulate photos, which to make it show that this is how they are. Not many people will show their true self. I always say that I'm a private person, but that's like a joke because my life is in all my 3 books. And so I'll never look at what you see there. That's why it's good not to be a spectator. When we're a spectator, we look at online and we see what other people are showing and we think that's what it is. But we don't see the grind of what they went through to achieve, if they did achieve it, and how did they achieve it. You understand? So it's not good to look at what you see online, and many people tend to do that. And so they start to compare, and then they can spiral into going into anxiety and depression because they're looking online. But if we start to participate in life and interact with others, we will see the true people. So online could be known as AI. Let's look at, no. What I'm saying is this. What I'm trying to say is this. Online could be like AI. when AI they do things, it generate a certain movement and things. Just look at the overall like that. But when we participate in life, we meet the true, authentic people. We speak to people and we hear their pain, we hear what they're going through. We know that everyone is in valleys. So it is not good to look online because that can make people depressed. And then the thing is this also, at 20, many people don't achieve at 20. And there's a lot, you see, God said, I have come to give you life and life more abundantly. So when we partake in life and we achieve, go and work towards what we want, then that's where God bless once we're in alignment with him. You understand? So we don't look at what others have. We have our relationship with the creator because of what he said. He let us know what he will give us, right? And so it is there for us to conquer. Everything is there. Like in Genesis, they tell us to go out and conquer. So you have to go out and work for it, not to look what others are doing, but look and said what I am doing and what I'm doing going forward. And that can take us out of that mindset because we can end up going into a mindset that can be able to make us fold inward or mentally paralyzed because we are looking at what others are doing, not knowing that they're only putting that out there and you're not seeing the scars. You're only seeing the dress up, but not the scars. And in order to achieve, there will be scars. There will be hills and valleys. Life is never a straight line. And those valleys are what shape our character. We have to be going to the furnace. We have to be pruned. God, he take away all the areas and he mold us because he have come to give us life more abundantly. So when we know and we look through his lens, we don't look at what's out there that's shiny. We partake and see the beauty. And that's why I said, this is the day that the Lord has made. So we stay present. And that's why my third book I signed, Stay Present. So for you going forward, what would you say going forward that you're looking at, other than looking through the lens of what you're seeing and what it can end up causing on the inside emotionally? What do you think you could say to your reset going forward? To anyone that is in the Gen Z that fit into that mold of who you are, what would you say to that generation going forward?
I know what I'm about to say you probably heard it numerous times, and I know it can be exhausting to just have people give positivity at times, especially when you're down, but honestly, you're gonna be okay.
Yes.
Trust me, I really truly understand what it's like to feel like getting up and not knowing what else is going to happen.
Yes.
Especially when we're at a time when literally we just turn into adults and a literal war is happening. But you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
So that's what you would say to your generation.
Yes, you're going to be okay.
And in the Bible, I'm going to seal it with this. In the Bible, God said, this too shall pass. And in every story, there's always a happy ending. Every movie, we have to remember this. Every movie we watch, the bad guy seem like he's winning, but at the end, the good guy come forward, right? And just like how you're saying to your generation, it's going to be okay. That's what I was saying to my younger me when I look at that photo and where I'm at now. But at the time when I was going through things, I could not see the mountaintop. So by you saying that to your younger you or your older you reset going forward, I appreciate you taking that time and saying that to that generation, your generation with compassion, your generation that is standing up as the light for the generation behind you that is looking up to you guys, right? And you guys, when I see you guys, I am I am so happy to see the baton that is passed. And when I look at you guys, I see you guys being okay also. So thanks for taking the time, for being with me on Reflect Reset. I know I pull you out, but I felt it in my heart that is something that need to be said. And I don't know if you're comfortable in doing a prayer with your younger you to close it, to your older you to reset. A simple word of encouragement from what scripture speak to you that you could give to anyone that is listening to this. Anyone, it doesn't matter the age group, because a lot of people that it doesn't matter, even if they're older, that whatever it can encourage. What verse you could give to someone at this moment before we close?
Listen, when God created this world, and when He created everything, and then He created man, He said that it was very good. And with that notion, it doesn't matter the age and what you're going through, how you're feeling about yourself, or what your achievements in this life. No matter what, you matter. It doesn't matter what anyone else has ever told you in your life. You yourself matter. The probability of you being here in this world at this specific time is literally more than the whole population of Earth. You matter. And don't let anyone else or even yourself tell you that you don't, because you do. God knitted you in your mother's womb, and when He created man, He said he was very good. You matter.
Thanks. Thanks for those words. And so for anyone that listened to this, hopefully it touches your heart wherever you are in a storm, because different people are in different storms in life, and they, either with their kids or maybe financially or emotionally. When Jesus was in the boat, He spoke to the storm. So He said, "Peace I leave with you, not what the world leave." So He's telling us that peace He leave with you. So speak to the storm as what He said from the boat. He said, "Peace, be still." And so thank you for joining us. And hopefully there's something that you can glean from the table of what was discussed and take from it to go forward. Have a blessed day. And you can visit me on www.reflect-reset.com. And with that, there is a lot of information. There's also podcasts. I have an Instagram. I am on YouTube. I'm also have a TikTok and Facebook. So going to the website, it will lead you to all the different funnel from my website. So have a blessed day and stay present. And don't forget to breathe. Thanks for tuning in to Reflect Reset. Stay tuned for upcoming podcast episodes. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Have a great day.